You mentioned earlier about Kuminga saying that you expect him to be maybe the second leading scorer on the team. What what improvements do you want to see from him this year?
Who?
Uh
Okay.
Kuminga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He like, oh, that's
Yeah.
all my fault. I think you said
Oh,
who. I think that's a
no, no. I said
yeah.
ooh,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
ooh. Uh,
Gifted
I
is he's like a teacher in the class of his students. Like that.
yeah,
Right? Just
yeah.
like, I'm just tired of this.
No, yeah. I said ooh because I think Kuminga is the biggest X factor on the entire team. A lot of people say Paz. The reason why I say Kuminga is he's expecting big money after this year.
Yeah.
So this year is a big prove year for that. But if he can figure out his shot to where it's at a respectable clip, his athleticism paired with a actual shot and handle opens up so many avenues for his game and the entire Golden State team. If he can be a capable, reliable enough shooter, we can now play him in lineups that have Draymond, that have another big in there, because the spacing won't look as bad if he can, knock down threes in the corners, right? I'm not asking for like 50% shooting, 45%, but just like 36, 35, whatever it is, but on good enough volume. I think he'll be good because, again, athletically, I've seen him do some crazy things where he catches the ball and he dunks it, and I didn't think a dunk was coming. I thought it was going to be like a layup, a foul call. He just goes straight and dunks the basketball. So him in space with Steph, Healed, and B-Pods could produce some very good results, but that's the biggest area. If his offense, again, can take that step, I think that changes a lot about this team.
And where would that leave Andrew Wiggins?
Ooh, I got different oohs. You see that? Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Andrew Wiggins is so hard for me to evaluate, honestly, because if you look at his tenure as a Warrior, his best year was the contract year. And then after he got paid, it's like, all right, well, you played well initially, you get hurt, you come back, you don't look exactly the same. And then last year, I'm sorry, he was awful.
Yeah.
There's gonna be Wiggins guys who be like, no, Gifted, what you mean? No, his defense was not the same. Early on, he was one of the worst corner shooters in the league. For a stretch, he was averaging 11 points per game. And again, if he's not giving you the same defensive value, even his spacing is super questionable. And the amount of times he would just lose the ball off of his drives, where he would like half-heartedly attack a closeout and just lose it, it's not great because he's already not like a great passer. So if he's not doing those, aspects right, it hurts everything else. The biggest reason why we had problems scoring is because him and Klay Thompson were not consistent, guys in terms of scoring the basketball. So now Kuminga mattered a lot more because Kuminga could just, easily get to his 19 or 20 points better than Andrew Wiggins. So I'm hoping it could be a bounce back year from him. He's gone through a lot of stuff off of the court, and I'm very sympathetic to that. It's not easy for players to play through those types of things. But if we're just talking about his overall effectiveness, I don't know how he's going to look. If you told me he averages 12 points and he shoots 45% from the field and he shoots 32% from three, I'm not surprised. If you tell me he averages 16 points with much better efficiency, I'm not surprised. I don't know.
Yeah. So I have a question. Who does Moses Moody have to bribe? What does he have to do?
Go talk to Shams.
Man.
You gotta go talk to Shams. You gotta go
to get
press conference
consistent minutes.
Look, man, I got bad news for you, man.
Oh,
I watched the game last year, man, and the crowd was chanting Moody. I need you to understand, for a casual audience watching a basketball game, to chant Moses Moody should play should tell you how bad this is. It just doesn't make any sense because I've seen Kerr play anyone over him. It doesn't matter. To play Anthony Lamb for half the season over Moody, but then in the playoffs, you lean on Moody and he performs and you don't go back to him again. It just doesn't make sense. I think Moody's good. I think he shows a ton of value for this team, but Kerr has never treated him like he's been a priority. So I don't expect him to play heavy minutes. I think he's more so like a 9th man or 10th man just because Kerr. But I think he's a valuable player.
Why? What's the reasoning behind
I don't know. I don't know.
Even
and literally,
fans, like, don't even...
every comment from him too, right? every comment is always professional. Like, I chose to develop in the NBA. I'm fine with this, that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just so nice that Kerr feels like taking advantage of him and trying to break him, and he's just not going. But it's not going anywhere if he doesn't want to play him.